In their text on operations and supply chain management, Jacobs and Chase defined Six Sigma as a philosophy and a program to improve quality in an organization. Now, the basis for this term itself is found in statistics. More specifically, it's in the concept of standard deviation, which is from the descriptive statistics use, and it's used to describe data sets. So let's do a quick walkthrough of descriptive statistics just so you can understand the basics of this. And we're going to use a famous candy like M&Ms to help describe this. Now, some of this is made up data just to show you the point, so don't be calling Mars Candy Company and turning me in or complaining, okay? But let's say after buying 30 bags, I think they're of the 1.59 ounce bags, after buying 30 bags of those M&Ms, we open them and we count out the number of candies in each bag. Now, we find that the mean or the average per bag is 35, and you can see that on this bell chart here, mean of 35 candies. Now, we also find that the bag count deviates anywhere from 29 to 40, so it's a range of 11 candies depending on the bag. And next we find that the median is like this. The median works so that like 50% of the bags have a count from 29 to 35 candies in them, and then the other 50% have between 36 and 40. So the median or the middle point is 35 candies, or about 35 candies. Now, we also determine that the most reoccurring count, as we count all these bags, these different 30 bags, we found the most reoccurring count is 35. So our mode is 35. A lot of the bags have 35 candies in them. Now, just to keep things simple, we're going to say for our standard deviation that it's 1 candy. Well, what does that mean to have a standard deviation of 1 candy? Look at this chart with me. In a normally distributed set of numbers, which we have in this case, 68% of the counted numbers, the counted candies, are within 1 standard deviation of the mean. So in the case of our M&M bag count, 68 of the bags that we opened and counted had between 34 and 36 candies. That's 35 candies, which is the mean, plus or minus 1 piece of candy. So again, 68% of the bags that we opened had between 34 and 36 candies. Well, at 2 standard deviations from the mean, you'll find that 95% of the bags that we open had a count between 33 and 37. Again, 95% of the bags we open had between 33 and 37. So the question is having 95% of the bags between 33 and 37 M&Ms inside of it acceptable? The specification for a typical bag of M&Ms, like this 1.59 ounce bag, is about 35 M&Ms. That's what's supposed to be in there. So the process is designed to put 35 candies in each bag. Consider the customer service implications if the bag is shorted, and consider the increased cost if we put too many in a bag. Now, let's talk about Six Sigma for a moment. Now, as a reminder, Six Sigma is a philosophy. It's derived from a bell curve representing a normal distribution. 6 standard deviations from the mean is 6 sigma. So look at a typical normally distributed curve with our M&M example. You can see that on the slide here. So at 1 standard deviation, 68.3% of the bags had between 34 and 36 M&Ms. We looked at the 2 standard deviations away. What about 3 standard deviations away? 99.7% of the bags will have between 32 and 38 M&Ms. At 4 standard deviations, you can see at 99.994% will have between 31 and 39 M&Ms. At 5 standard deviations, 99.99994, if I said all the 9s right, will have between 30 and 40. And look at Six Sigma, 6 standard deviations away from the mean. 99.999998% of the bags, not quite 100%, will have between 29 and 41 M&Ms. What does this mean? In the language of quality, put it in simple terms. If Mars Company is Six Sigma capable, now that is if their processes are capable of generating Six Sigma capabilities, then for every 1 million bags produced, only 4 bags will not have between 29 and 41 candies. That's quite amazing. Again, out of 1 million bags produced, only 4 would not comply with that 29 to 41 range. Well, according to one source, Mars produces about 400 million M&M candies each year. So a typical 1.59 ounce bag, which is supposed to have about 35 M&Ms, if all those 400 million were packaged into those 1.59 ounce bags, then there'd be well over 11 million bags produced each year of these particular M&Ms. All right. If that was the case, and Mars was Six Sigma capable, then they would only produce 44 bags each year that did not have between 29 and 41 candies. Now that's pretty amazing if you think about it. Out of 11 million bags, only 44 would be bad, at least in terms of their count. So Mars has to ask themselves some questions about Six Sigma. Is it worth it? Is the cost of achieving a process that only ships 44 bad bags a year worth it? Yeah? Is the cost of shipping bags with 41 pieces versus 35 pieces really a great loss to them? What is the real customer satisfaction impact if only 29 pieces are shipped in a bag? Does the customer even know the difference? Now, if Mars wanted to achieve a Six Sigma level, think about this, of between 34 and 36 instead of the 29 and 41, if their Six Sigma level was 34 to 36 specifications, what would it cost them? And would it be worth it? So, in conclusion, Six Sigma is a management philosophy and a quality goal. And the type of services and the types of products really need to be considered when we think about the cost of quality of implementing Six Sigma. Is the cost to achieve Six Sigma levels worth it for Mars Candy for those M&Ms? What about this question though? What if the product is a bolt for a jet wing? Does that change the calculus? Does that change your thinking? Okay, so some things to think about as we consider Six Sigma thinking. Have a great day.